What is up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to another episode of Benzinga Live. I'm your host, Aaron Bree, producer AB, whatever you want to call me. It doesn't matter to me. Just let me know in the chat what stocks you guys are watching, what you guys are trading. I've got my man David Green hanging out with us in the background. Gonna bring him on here in 2 minutes. We're gonna be doing some live trading with David. So if you got any charts you want to check out, drop them in the chat while we've got David on. We'll be talking a few big headlines today. Yesterday, one of the viral stories was Cathie Wood writing an open letter to the Federal Reserve. There were a lot of memes that came out from that. So we'll talk about that. We'll go through the letter because it's funny, in the sense where people are like, oh, she's, writing a letter to the manager of the stock market demanding, whatever. It's funny. The memes are funny, but I think there are some things in the letter that should be taken, that kind of mimic what Professor Siegel was saying on CNBC a couple weeks ago that also went viral. So I think we'll go through it and take out what was maybe good in the letter and what was bad. We'll talk about Tesla stock. We'll talk about Apple stock. Anything else you guys want to talk about? Oh, Amazon deal day. So today Amazon is doing like a early access Prime Day type deal. And, I'm not saying it doesn't matter for the stock. I'm not saying that. But what we're going to talk about is kind of the theme we're seeing in retail. Of course, if you guys remember back in May, about 6 months ago, Target gave an earnings report where it gave its first warning saying, hey, our inventory is, we're stocked up on things that people aren't buying as much of anymore. So we're going to have to cut prices. And Target stock went down 25% overnight, which is a crazy move for a stock like Target. So now we're seeing that Amazon, Targets, Walmart's, Kohl's offering crazy deals, 50, 60, 70% off stuff. And we'll go through some of those deals. We'll go through what it means for those stocks. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll that intro. Get my man David Green on the stream. See what I did there? We'll be back.
This is Benzinga Live. Spencer Israel and producer AB. What's up, everybody? How we doing?
Someone told me buy high, sell higher. So.
Let's get Matt Hammond on the show to talk some IPOs. Jake Wojacek from Trend Spider. We have
breaking news. Mr. DG, how you doing?
Didn't work anyway. What's up, Aaron?
How you doing on this beautiful Tuesday?
We are doing wonderful. Wonderful. Big rally off the lows this morning, huh?
That's what I like to hear. Let's go ahead and pop your charts up and show us what you've been looking at.
Hold on. Share. Oops. I stopped sharing in my private trading room.
Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, I was watching some of these stocks. Like Netflix was getting shebanged, was down almost 7%. Now back up. Got down to like 214, back up to 219 right now. It's a nice little $5 move in Netflix there. Really, all the stocks seem to have similar charts like that, where they were getting schlossed on the open. Now Tesla's in the green. I mean, we're seeing some moves for sure, Dave.
Yeah, we're seeing some big moves off the lows this morning, and we had a couple of spots this morning where things worked for trades. Everyone got so negative on this market. I want to show you this morning, guys, what we hit. We got a couple of orders out. Just let me keep my eyes on things now. Nice. We're looking to do a double top at 360.60. That's good. Tesla, double top. What is it, guys? 225.70. That's good. How's everybody doing today? I don't see any comments yet.
Yeah, they'll become flying in. We had a technical thing today, so not as many viewers to start with, but they'll come in.
Yeah, so we look at the spies, guys and girls. Check out this morning, all right? We had a beautiful pivot point down here around 356 in the spiders. We went down 3.5 points and hit that. And look how nicely that held. I mean, that was the absolute low in the market. And we spiked up 3 points from there. We were just offering to short it at 360.60. Which would have been a double top from this morning, and it backed off a little bit. So let's cancel that for now.
Order cancel.
PayPal. I'll tell you, the volatility in this market has just been absolutely insane. Insane, which is good. It's good for trading. But
doesn't make it any easier, though.
No, it doesn't make it any easier. And for some people, it's been a lot more difficult. Yeah, the spiders might be in an uptrend now. we can look to buy on a little pullback. Tesla's one we've been watching very carefully because it hasn't had, I don't know, it hasn't been as bad as the overall market. I'm kind of a little bullish on Tesla here. They got earnings coming out, so we got to be very careful as far as, I was telling everybody, you know, there's some spots I'm looking for to get into stocks. I think the chip stocks are getting way overdone, and NVIDIAs and the AMDs. But we got earnings coming out in all these things in a couple of weeks, right? Well, AMD just pre-warned. But Tesla earnings are coming out the 19th, so next week. And, you know, this is a weekly chart. And here's where we're at. So I was kind of hoping we can get down to that 187 level. That is our weekly 200 EMA. It could if the, you know, earnings aren't good or whatever. So keeping an eye on Tesla. You know, the ones I really started to like a little bit were the AMD and the NVIDIA. AMD this morning hit a little level down here at our 406. For those of you who don't know, everything we do is based on technical analysis. Bounced off there. SQQ worked off the 200, Ken.
What about, I mean, I mentioned, I was watching Netflix earlier, but now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, that looked like death warmed over this morning. It's still not great. I mean,
no, and I was going to say, I mean, Netflix has been outperforming the market, but today it's the opposite. It's down 5% while the market's coming back. Well, I mean, what is that, you know, scary from it?
I see absolutely nothing. We were 230 yesterday. We went down to 213 today. I mean, never hit your order, Robert. So, you know, here's another. I'm looking at Netflix on our monthly chart, and we're down around 200. Let's go at 200. Just to, that's a big monthly level in it. But yeah, it's just much weaker than every stock. It's been an unbelievable downtrend all day, and now it's trying a little bit to get going a little bit. 84.92 was PayPal short, guys and girls. What up, Benzinga? What up, MD? Yeah, it's up higher. No, it did not hit. Yeah, so again, you know, one of the things as traders, guys, I don't ask why, Aaron. I just try to figure out where we're going to buy and sell stocks. So, you know, when someone asks me why is a stock, you know, down, it's because more people are selling it and buying it. Let's just figure out a place where we want to buy or sell it for a trade anyway. And around 200, I start getting bullish if we go in that direction. Overall, the SPYs, again, we're in kind of nowhere's land. We keep doing this bounce around, but I wouldn't be shocked, especially if we start getting earnings out. If we get down to the monthly level, about 342, that's a spot where I'd look to start getting back into the market for long term and maybe start a little, you know, my favorites are going to be AMD, Amazon, Google, and Apple. So if we get down around that 342 level, I will start buying. You know, I'm completely out of the market. But once we get down to that 342 level, I will start there for long term again in some of these things. Some of the ones that I like, you know, Google is a gigantic level around 87. We were kind of flirting with that. Now we're up a little bit. I'll show you guys this on the monthly chart. It's right here, 87.60. So I think that would be a good place to start. Now, I mean, some of these stocks have just been beaten so badly, right, Aaron? And it's going to take an awful long time to get back to these highs. If we look at Meta, I mean, $353, stock is trading at 126 bucks, right? And the earnings are coming out in a couple of weeks. Just crazy. Some of the moves that these stocks are made. And these stocks weren't supposed to do that, right? Meta was not supposed to do this.
No, I mean, Meta was one of the ones that was in like the most pension. You know, it's in a bunch of stuff that's supposed to be safe, or at least safe-ish.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's just the market that we're in, man. There are more shares rather than people have to sell stocks for them to go down, and they have to buy stocks for them to go up. More people have to buy for it to go up, and more people have to sell for it to go down. SQQQ, guys, I still like it at that 60.55 level. Market's rallying a little more. Ken, did you do the PayPal at that 84.20, whatever it was? It's working a little bit. Meta ate my lunch. You're not alone, Enoch. I can tell you that right. You're not alone. You know, I said when this first started, in the midst of it, this is not one that we're going to get over quickly, guys and girls. And I don't think we're at the bottom yet. Again, I don't tell anybody what to buy or sell. I'm just looking at what I'm looking at for my long-term stuff, but it's going to take a long time for this to fix itself. I heard you talking about Kathy Wood and sending her. Did the spies just do a double top there, guys? 360,
Yeah.
60?
Did you see that yesterday, David?
I did. You took 25 cents. All right. Keep the
I mean,
spies tight here.
If I had any clout on Wall Street, I would write a letter too. I'd say, hey,
You think she has any clout?
No, not with the Fed, but I mean, I think of enough money managers that hold enough assets under management. I don't know what that number is, but collectively, if people managing $1 trillion worth of wealth come together and say, hey, we're in for trouble here, then maybe the Fed reconsiders. But again, I don't know what that number is. I don't know how many people need to say that.
I think we're getting close to them being done anyway. My opinion is that by the end of this year, when we get to the 4.25, 4.5, whatever that is, that they'll definitely, especially if the market's still going down, they have to take a look at that point.
Well, plus you gotta look at some of the forward-looking metrics of inflation. A lot of them look like inflation has come down quite a bit, whether you're looking at shipping costs, all these things that some economists are looking at saying, yeah, we expect to see CPI be this in 3 months. The numbers they're using to calculate that are trending in the right direction. With that said, the CPI, I'm not expecting anything great.
Yeah, we got that coming out on Thursday, right? So
yeah, I'm not expecting anything great there because
that'll
gas
go
prices
a long
have
way.
been.
Look, all these rate increases take 3 to 6 months to get into the market anyway. So, it's not like we're going to see, because they raise rates 5 times or whatever it is, a month later, that inflation is going to be under control. It's just not how it works, right?
Yeah, it takes time. But
yeah,
I also think it. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I was going to say, I also think it's unfair to, on that same note, it's not fair to say yet, oh, it hasn't worked. Inflation hasn't come down yet, because
we don't know.
Even if it has, we wouldn't know yet. We would know in months,
Exactly right. But if the market keeps acting like this, they're definitely going to either slow their pace or say they're done for a little bit anyway. Yeah, we were watching this HKD this morning, and we talked about it. And I said it's probably going to get halted 4 or 5 times on the way up. Ken, can you give us a little Fibonacci and HKD? Let's take a little look. Morning, Mike. Let's see if we got a little fib in. Guys, just keep in mind, guys, these spiders, again, once they get rolling here, you don't want to get in their way. 360, 270 in spiders, we have a pivot point. Let's put a little short up there, guys and girls. I like that. That would be a little stretched on the upside. But as far as this day-to-day, this market has been insane. It's been very difficult to trade. I'm hearing from a lot of people who are getting whipsawed. They start going down, they get short. They start going up, they get long, and then it just turns around on a dime, and for absolutely no reason. So, not an easy market to trade. We have cut our size over the last couple of weeks, and just until things settle down a little bit. We still good in PayPal up here, guys? 84.90. Yeah, I still like that, but I wanted to get there fast. Bought DoorDash puts off Libra. That's good. SOXS cash to CM. SOXS. I'm in a little position in Soxel right now. We sold some puts in this yesterday. We sold some 6 puts for like 70 cents, going out a little bit. We sold a bunch of them. So I don't mind being long Soxel if it gets below 6, but we'll cash in long before that. But yeah, we did that yesterday, Mike. That's funny that you should mention that. So we got into a little Soxel. What's SQQQ doing there, guys, with the market still ripping up? All right. All right, guys, I like the Soxel down here. If we get to the 60.55, I mean, that's going to be straight down $2. We'll give that a little bit if we get down there. Put on Amazon. We'll take a look. Microsoft. Wow. We got our 200 EMA at 229.30 in Softy. You guys like that for a little shortsky wartsky? Again, guys, I don't want to get run over on the short side now, because we've seen this market be in places like this and then just absolutely rip up for the rest of the day. But I like that if we go fast, Softy. Let's do it small. 229.30. Trades in these things, guys, because I don't want to get run over in anything. Give PayPal for another minute here. Ken, if you got a fib in HKD, let's take a look. Nothing seems to be stopping here yet. QQQ October 14th, strike 268. You should have pulled the trigger. I guess you should have, Sal. Yes, turnaround Tuesday for the morning. Anyway, for the short term. Amazon, 49.18 and 44.85. Let me look at HKD. Guys, have any questions about any stocks or anything? We're here to answer. 49.18, you did a little bit. All right. And what's the other one? 44.95. Did it work at 49.19? Don't look like it. Okay. Not yet. Well, that's a dollar spread too, so I'm not in a hurry to do anything in HKD, quite honest with you. 44.60 is the 9 EMA. Let's try that. 45.62. Again, we'll just put a field order in this because I trust it's about as far as I can throw it. 45.62. That's our trend trade, guys. So I'm looking down here on the 15 EMA, see if we hold that. I wouldn't buy a put on anything at this point, guys. I mean, unless you're just doing it for a trade. I'll look at AMD in a minute. I'm getting less and less into PayPal here. I can tell you that right now. Still like SQQQ, guys, even if though it's going small, because I think we're getting a little overdone to the upside here. I tried a Netflix trade off the Netflix trade, no luck off the VWAP. What, to short it? Yeah, just keep your eyes on the overall market, guys. When the spiders are doing what they're doing right now, unless they get to a point where they're really stretched out, you don't want to be shorting stuff. The trend is your friend. Period.
Yeah, I mean, and you get these days in bear markets where, you know, whether it's shorts covering or just a relief rally, it doesn't really matter what it is. But even, you know, even in a vicious bear market, it's not like things are just going to go straight down every single day.
Correct. 100%. We grabbed 5 points off of Netflix. That's great. Good for you. Excellent trade. Yeah, I mean, go look at the spiders now. I think the closest real resistance we have on a daily chart is like 367. So there's no reason we can't get these big rippies during the day, you know, in a bear market. And that's what we're in, right? So to me, the first big resistance we have is around 367. We got room to that. That doesn't mean I'm not going to take a shot and short it in between. We're going to try shorting it up here if we get to our pivot point for a trade. All right, guys, cancel SQQ. Came too close. Let's look for another level if we have one. 58.60. I would be very aggressive at 58.60 in SQQQ. I don't think we're going to get there. PayPal. Let's take a look. All right. Are we happy with the way PayPal's going up there, guys and girls? We're looking to short PayPal on the 200 EMA, but I kind of wanted it to go fast. Let's give it another minute. Everything is so strong. You know, that's going to be up $1.50, but it's taking freaking forever. Let's literally give it another 30 seconds. This is what we do with every trade that we're looking at, guys and girls. And I'll invite anybody who wants, as we always do, to come in and hang out with us for the rest of the week and trade in the room with us. But if this takes forever to get there, it's not going to be as effective a trade. It's going slow. It's going slow. The slower it goes, the better chance it's going to bust through that. So I don't even like it. We're going to cancel that for now. So, Apron. What is Apron? Aren't they out of business?
Blue Apron? I don't know. It's like a food delivery service, I think.
Yeah, someone in my room just mentioned it. Don't trade either of these, Apron or GCT. Wasn't GCT at $10,000? 62, down to 7. Yuck. Love how he beats up his keyboard. I'm trying to go nice and slow here. I guess we got to thank God for small favors when things are going up a little bit. That's the bottom line, right? NVAX. What a trend trade today. Yeah, check that out, guys. Wow. From 18 bucks, NVAX. Well, 22 in NVAX. I really like for a short, guys. We'll do a full trade up there if we spike up to that. That would be really stretched out. 21.96. All over that. That's what we spend our day doing, guys. We do some swing trading. We do some options trading. I wanted to get the SPY down to the 340 and then start doing some swinger dingers. Let's look at Tesla, see if this is setting up for a trend now. Where do we want to be in Tesla, guys? Let's go down here, 220, 220. That'll be down $2. See if we get a pullback. What do you think? What's your opinion overall market, Aaron? What are we going to do? What are we doing? Time to buy? Time to sit on the sidelines? What are you thinking?
I mean, it depends on your timeline. I think if you have any sort of longer time frame, you know that, yeah, of course, this is a good time to buy. I mean, how often do you get to buy the S&P 500 on a 25% off, discount? Not often. But as far as a short term, I don't know. I mean, I'm still kind of undecided. I think like everyone else, we're dependent on the Fed here. But I do think the Fed is closer than some people think. I'm more bullish than your average person right now, for sure. But I'm not ready to go ahead and say, yeah, it's buy everything. Short term, long term, we're good to go here. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, I'd like to see one nice capitulation day, maybe down to that 340 range. But I'm with you too. I mean, I think if you have a 3 to 5 year time horizon, it's fine to start buying some of the stocks that you like here, stocks that make money, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
like the Googles,
I don't want you buying AMC and HKD, but
yeah,
I
if
like
you wanted to
like
buy,
you just said, Apple, Google,
right,
Amazon,
yeah,
even Netflix at some of these levels. Microsoft was getting bagel smeared for a couple of days too, right? Let's see where we are in Softy. Yeah, we bounced up nicely today. But I mean, this is a monthly chart of Microsoft from 350 to 220, right? I mean, I'd love to get Microsoft around $200, 198. We'd have to have a significant pullback from here. But I think if you have, here we go. We got a weekly coming up at Microsoft at 223. I will probably start a little Microsoft down there. I mean, we got to 225 today and bounced $3. Again, guys, me and Aaron don't give financial advice. I'm looking at charts and telling you what I think. But if you have a 3 to 5 year time frame, I think you are fine starting here and just buying lower and turn off your machine for a couple of years. That's what I think. Plus, a lot of people, if you haven't sold by now, what are you going to do? Now you're going to sell everything down 25%?
right. I mean, yeah, this is the time where if you haven't sold and you're down 20%, maybe, yeah. I mean, maybe if you're talking about the indices, if you're talking about long term, like I'm still at like every 2 weeks when I get paid here on Friday, some of that portion's going into the market. If I thought the market was going to drop another 20% in the interim in the next couple months, then I wouldn't be doing that right now. I would cut off those recurring investments. So that's where I am. So
why would you cut it off even if we go down another 20%? So what?
I'm saying if I thought we were going, it would make no sense to at that point. If I thought from here to January 1st of the new year we're going down 20%, then it wouldn't make sense for me to be putting that money in right now. It'd make more sense for me to wait. But I'm saying I don't think that's not where I stand. I'm just going to keep investing no matter what, even if we do keep going down.
Exactly. I mean, how old are you? 22? I mean, you got a
couple years old.
You got 40 years of investing, right?
Yeah,
the one thing we know, guys and girls, and it's without fail, is the market has done nothing but go up over time for 120 years. This time's not going to be any different. It's going to take longer this time, but it's not going to be any different. You just got to be a little more patient now. But if I'm a new investor, right? Yeah, Jay, I'm with you too. I'm not doing anything till after earnings come out. You can always buy stocks on the way up, right? I mean, I'm not worried about picking absolute bottoms and things because nobody can do that. It's impossible to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's a common, thought right now is a lot of people are, waiting or they're anxious for this upcoming earnings season, and they don't know, could this be the next leg down that we make? Who know? We don't know really, but I do think often times you see you do see markets tend to bottom before earnings seasons come out, even when they're anticipated to be bad.
And how much of that is getting priced into some of these stocks already? Now, that's another thing you have to look at. By the time they come out with bad earnings, I've seen stocks when things like this are happening, right? And this is going on. I've seen stocks come out with horrendous earnings and they rally from there because maybe that's it. You know, the worst is over. And I see stocks rally up from those points. So who knows? I mean, look, stocks, and I have people not too long ago, right? They're in the video at $200, $250. And they asked for my advice here. I won't mention any names of people in my room, but if you're in this at $200 or $250 and you haven't sold any, you have to buy more now. I don't care if it keeps going down from here. You have to dollar cost average in something that's down 60%, right? And even if it keeps going lower than that, you still have to do it. What are you going? The only way you could possibly get some of that back is you at dollar cost average. And then when we get the market that starts turning around a little, we don't have to go up as high before you start getting money back, right? But if you're in some of these things at much higher prices, you have no choice.
Exactly.
Unless, you know.
So this is coming from KKR. They have about $500 billion in assets under management. This overall note is actually pretty bearish, I would say. You know, they're saying we remain hawkish as we expect to see stickier inflation into 2023. But they say in the note, however, we also can't forget that markets bottom during, not at the end of recessions. Markets also bottom ahead of earnings and usually stabilize when the Fed stops raising rates. So you had some people, I mean, Scott Menard went on CNBC on Friday last week or Thursday and said he sees the Fed stopping raising rates as soon as November next month. So who's to say when that happens? I don't have a crystal ball, but again, I'm in the camp that I do think it's closer than some people think. I don't think, you know, we're in an environment where the Fed's going to be continuing to raise rates, you know, at this point next year. You know, I think it's within the next few months we're going to hit a point, like you said, Dave, right? Probably when we get around that 4%, they'll have to stop it.
I think so. And I think if the market's down between now and when they have that meeting, I'd be shocked if they didn't pivot at that point. Say, okay, or at least say, you know what, that's it for now. We're going to be data dependent. Because if they don't do that, then we're going to have real problems. You know, whether they're going to actually, you know, stop cutting or not, I think the language has to change. That's what I think. Guys, we still like Tesla here. How low do we get? So we had a bid here down in Tesla on a 65 EMA. All right, we'll give it another minute, literally. Market's coming in again now. This is what we've seen this market do. You know, how many times lately? We've seen it be at its lows, go up to its highs, and ended up being back down at its lows, right? It happens almost every day. So we'll see what it does this time. All right, we got a tiny little Tesla at 25, guys. Keep it small. We're going to give it a dollar stop. See if we get a bounce from here. Spiders hanging out. Anybody have any other questions about stuff that we want to look at? Anybody curious about anything else? Oh. The do run, the do. We'll see if Tesla loses these levels here. It's not going to be good, guys. So keep a tight stop. Whole market's losing levels now. Spiders are hanging out. DXCM 120. Can we look at Boeing these days? Yeah, let's take a look at Boeing. Let's go to a daily chart. Boeing's been better these days, right? We're up to the pushing against a little resistance here, right around 134. So this is definitely looking a little better these days. Let's look weekly. Weekly got room to 139. It's kind of hanging out here. I mean, it's better than most today, right? Apple 140. Didn't Apple was in the 160s, 170s not too long ago, right? All these charts look the same. None of them look great, but Boeing looks okay. Looks okay for now, for today. What else we got? Any other questions?
Let's see.
We can post the email if anyone wants to come hang out with us for the rest of this week. dgreen927@yahoo.com.
Got that up there. All right, let's see.
What the hell is that?
I don't know.
I don't know what that was. Tesla higher lows, so that's not good, right? Starting to break down.
and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think it's tough right now in this environment. Even when, like you said, Dave, when the trend is your friend, the
It
daily
changes in
trend
2
can,
seconds.
yeah, it changes in 2 seconds, and the overall trend, for the past, I don't know how long, 6 months, year, has been that these rallies haven't really held. So, we'll see. I'm hoping we can get some sort of. I don't think we really are going to get any sort of meaningful rally that holds until we get some confidence that the Fed's going to be slowing down, or at least some good news.
Or
I don't
earnings.
know. Or
Earnings
earnings
could help a little bit.
could help. Yeah, certainly.
We'll see what happens in the
Certainly.
next couple of
And
weeks.
we're getting close. We get CPI, we got earnings, we're gonna get more jobs data. We're gonna get some. We're gonna move one way or the other. I
I agree.
don't know which way, but we're gonna move.
I agree. We'll see what happens. Look, I wouldn't mind getting some capitulation to the downside at some point too.
Yeah. I don't know where that would where that would be. Some people were saying, potentially ARC, potentially Tesla. Where would something break? It doesn't seem like it's going to be in the housing market this time.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. Guys, sell a little bit of Tesla at break even here, around 20. We'll see what the next move is.
All right, Dave. Well, we'll see.
Always a pleasure to be with you guys on Tuesdays. In your
always
opinion,
a pleasure
how
to
much
have you, man.
Let me answer this. How much fall does NVIDIA have left? That's a great question. I don't know the answer. NVIDIA has broken, every level on the downside. And I don't know. Let's go monthly. Hopefully not much more. I'm not even going to tell you where my monthly chart is. So let's not talk about NVIDIA. We need the whole market to bounce and NVIDIA will bounce. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. And I mean, even if NVIDIA is giving up some market share right now, it's not what you want to hear as an investor. But this thing is so beaten down that eventually, like Dave said, when the markets turn around, the stock will start coming back up. And I mean, with what the company does, with the growth potential, there's an argument to be made that even if it gives up a little bit of market share, it's still going to be fine long term. So we'll see with NVIDIA.
Hawkish stuff coming out right now. Meister is speaking. Does not expect the Fed to lower rates in 2023. Size of Fed rise will depend on economic condition. Possible shock could tip economy into recession. You mean we're not in a recession now?
Who's talking?
Meister. Yeah, he's one of the Fed speaks.
The Mester investor.
Biggest policy risk is that Fed doesn't hike rates enough. What an idiot. That's exactly what we need to hear at this time. Jeez Louise. SPY looking like a trend now?
HKD MD said
maybe
200. I haven't looked at that stock since that crazy move it made.
It hit the 200 EMA this morning. Yeah, it's been off to the races since then. Look, HKD is a lottery ticket. Unfortunately, I don't even think they have options yet, do they? I doubt it. Nope.
All right, Dave. Well, always a pleasure to have you on, man. Good luck trading these crazy markets.
Anyone wants to come hang out? Come hang out.
Hopefully by next Tuesday when we have you back on, the SPY is higher
that
than
would
it
be
is
nice.
Today.
All right, Aaron. Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, of course. All right, guys, that was Dave Green. D Green 927 to get more from Dave. Go join his room. Always a pleasure to get Dave on. All right, folks, 78 people watching us today. Go ahead and smash the like if you're here, if you're with us. Let me know in the chat what you guys are watching. Let's go ahead and get my Benzinga Pro pulled up, and we'll go through. And one of the other things I wanted to do too, which might be fun, little activity. Let's go through some of the top deals available on Amazon Prime Day today. It's not really Amazon Prime Day, but like we were talking about, we're going to talk about the implications for this. The implication for any of my for any Always Sunny fans out there. You know that joke? Actually, not an appropriate joke to make on the stream. Actually, there's probably not a single Always Sunny Philadelphia joke that's appropriate to make on the stream. But anyway, get my Benzinga Pro. How do I hang out with Dave? Shoot him an email, Melanie. dgreen at 927. Not dgreen at 927. dgreen927 at yahoo.com. You'd think I would know how to work an email address by now, but I don't. All right, Q's down about 0.6% today. Netflix. This is just what I'm in today as a trade. So I bought some calls this morning when it was down. Like here, was up a decent amount on the calls, watching them while Dave was on, and now as you can see, we're looking at 10-minute candles here. So big 10-minute red candle for Netflix there. Pretty much the overall market, like Dave said. Someone's speaking. I don't know who, and apparently they're not saying good things. Fed speak, some more Fed speak, I guess. Don't really know. But all right, guys, let's check out Amazon stock. Amazon 112. We're at 112. Looking at the daily, we're getting back to those June lows. Remember, we were at these June lows and came all the way back up to almost 150 on Amazon. And I remember at the time I was kicking myself. I was like, man, Amazon got down to $100 a share. Now it's back up to 150. That's a nice little, what is that? 1 to 150, 50% gain right there. And I remember kicking myself for not getting in. Well, now I have an opportunity to get back in, but I don't know if I really want to. Let's go ahead and go over to, you guys might see, hopefully you don't see any like embarrassing past history purchases on my Amazon here. Settlers of Catan, that's kind of nerdy. So yeah, here's what I wanted to talk about on Amazon. So Amazon is offering this Prime Early Access sale. It's not exactly, so it's included with your Prime membership October 11th through 12th. You can see here just different deals they're advertising on the homepage. Surprise, surprise, up to 25% off Peloton bike guide apparel and accessories. So Peloton seems to be having trouble moving some of its inventory. Mester talking. Loretta J. Mester is the president and CEO of the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland. All right, put some respect on Loretta's name. I'm sorry, I should know who Mester is. Let's see where, and sorry, I'm getting very sidetracked right now, and my ADD's at all-time highs right now, but I'm curious where Miss Mester stands on the Federal Reserve hawkish scale. There's like a good scale. Oh yeah, here we go. ITC markets. You know what? That's one of my favorite things in life is when you Google something looking for it and you get it on the first hit. So yeah, she's very, very hawkish. You can see here. I mean, Bullard from St. Louis, Waller are the only two more hawkish on this scale, according to In Touch capital markets. And look, we had quotes from Evans and Bernard, two of the most dovish yesterday, that were basically the opposite, saying, hey, there's a big risk in raising rates too hard too fast. And if you were kind of newer to this and you have no clue what we're talking about, you know, hawkish or dovish. So hawkish is just, and if someone knows in the chat, this would be a great tidbit of information to know. Maybe we can look this up together and figure it out. I don't know why it's called hawkish and dovish. Well, I don't know. Maybe like a hawk is very aggressive and like attacking, and so when the Fed's hawkish, it's going after the markets. It's going after it's cutting. What am I looking for? It's trying to like restrict monetary, but instead it's either loose policy that's letting money flow, or it's strict and tightening monetary policy. And right now they're tightening is what hawkish means. Dovish means they're being easy, they're being lenient, they're letting things fly. So we were dovish for basically since like 2010 to now, and we were super dovish at the onset of COVID because we had to be. And then now, we're starting to get hawkish, and Mester, who's one of the more hawkish out of all the 16, 18, I don't know how many of there are, the Federal Reserve members, she's saying some hawkish things. So what? She's supposed to be hawkish. They're sleeping together? I don't know who you're talking about. Loretta and Bullard? Maybe. All right, let's go back to Amazon. Go through some of these deals. So I think primarily, and what you're seeing here, it's what we've seen. So again, I mentioned it at the top of the show, but Target's earnings call in May. If you guys recall, Target basically said, "Hey, our inventory, we're kind of screwed. We basically have a bunch of TVs, a bunch of computers, a bunch of electronics that people were buying a lot of during COVID-19, during the pandemic. Demand was way up for those things." And now they're falling. Well, if you're a store and you've got 100 TVs and you were expecting to sell 100 and now you've only sold 50, now you're holding 50 more TVs. It's like a big problem. You got to get rid of your inventory. How are they doing that? They're starting to slash prices. They're starting to offer sales for customers, for consumers. You can see here on Amazon Prime, like Target, electronics seems to be the biggest thing here. You can see we talked about the Peloton bike, up to $200 off a MacBook Air M1. AT, you hear that? Amazon Prime, $200 off MacBook Air M1. He said no. We need some more laptops for the fam, for the BZ fam. Oh, let me get an M2. Generac, you need a generator, up to $539 off. I mean, this thing was or what about this one, the Duramax? I mean, that's probably a nice generator. It was $1,500. Now it's only it's less than $1,000. I mean, it's still expensive. I'm not gonna buy it. I certainly don't have that money for a generator. I don't understand why the market reacts every time the Fed speaks. They're often wrong and irrelevant. I don't know. I mean, I think you don't, because basically I think it goes against, hearing Messer talk like that goes against the idea that the Fed, had this emergency meeting on Monday and is close to pivot. If she would have came out and said, oh, we are seeing inflation, if she sounded even like neutral, the markets would have responded well to it or not responded. The fact that I think she still sounds so hawkish is enough to give some investors or at least or scare investors that, hey, maybe that pivot, maybe the Fed isn't as close as some people, myself included, have been thinking. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I'm just speculating here. Let's see. Any other big deals? $565 off this Intel laptop. Some monitors. If you want to build a PC for gaming or for just like working or anything, right now is a great time to do it. Graphics cards are cheap. You can see all these accessories are cheap. Mouses, keyboards. There's a lot of gear out there that you can get at very affordable prices right now. I mean, look at this HP gaming desktop. This is like a pre-packaged gaming computer that is only $389. Was like $760. And this isn't unexpected, right? A lot of people were talking about this, like, as basically anytime you have supply chain issues, you have shortages, it's followed by a glut, followed by a surplus of goods. My man, what's the guy's name who wrote the Black Swan? Nassim Taleb. Am I saying that? I'm really bad at pronouncing things in general, let alone names. So forgive me, and I'm sure someone out there is gonna be like, "Wow, you really don't know how to say his name." Is it Nassim Taleb? I'm gonna guess. Maybe there's a this is actually a good sometimes on Wikipedia they'll have, oh yeah, Nassim Taleb. We can go to we can try to find an interview with him and see how they pronounce it. I don't know if you guys are gonna get sound on this.
The regulator-approved diamond commodity. Diamond standard coins are all equal.
We've been having a big debate at this table, and Barry's been a huge part of it, about what the Fed should or should not be doing and where we really are in this economic cycle, whether we effectively are already in a recession or not, and whether the Fed is doing too much or too little. I'm very curious where you land on this.
I think that we've had 15
Oh, they didn't say his name.
Today is June 20th, 2022, and my guest is Nassim Nicholas Taleb. This is Nassim's 10th appearance.
Nassim Taleb. All right. I know how to say his name. Good to know. But it's not just Amazon that's offering these great deals. Look at Walmart stock actually up today. Decent amount. I didn't even mean I out of habit search stock. I didn't even mean to. I wanted to go to their website. But you can see here on Walmart too. And it's kind of the same things, right? It's like this Roomba was also on sale on Amazon, on sale here. You know, so you're seeing sales across the board, whether you look on Amazon, whether you look on Walmart, whether you look at Kohl's, whether you look at Target. And you can find oftentimes where Walmart might try to make it harder for you to do it. Shop all deals right here. I mean, look, like this is a $445 laptop for $179. Air fryers? You want a dual basket air fryer? You want to be able to make onion rings and french fries at the same times? Only $80 right now. Some good deals out there. Yeah, I kind of agree. I'm not really buying any of this stuff either. It's just interesting to see. And we're going to talk about what this means for both stock implications, but also you got to realize these savings, these deals being extended. And it's not just on these like electronics and household items from Target, Walmart, and Amazon. It's also like if you go to like CVS right now and you buy, I went to CVS the other night. And my roommate texted me. It said we needed paper towels and trash bags, and I bought. I got one thing of paper towels, one thing of trash bags, and a bottle of wine. And I don't have like a CVS account, but I know he does, my roommate. So when they asked me for my phone number, I put his in, and I got $15 off of my bill off those 3 items. $15 off. It was supposed to be like $28 and ended up being like 13 or something for like trash bags, paper towels, and a bottle of wine. And so basically my point is like all of these, and this is what I mean by inflation CPI being a lagging indicator. All of these sales that we're seeing at Targets, at Walmarts, at Amazons, at CVS's aren't going to be seen until next month or potentially even the month after's CPI, even though, that's really what we're paying now might be actually less than what we were paying 2 months ago, but the CPI might not reflect that. DXY near low a day, TLT moving higher. What's 120? I don't know what 120 is. Let's go ahead and pull up. I mean, it's basically been the story of I don't even know how long. Every time the dollar is moving up, the stock moves down. All right. Yeah. Got the 20-year moving up. I don't know. I don't know how much CPI will not be good. Yeah, I agree. I mean, and we were looking at this almost every day, the AAA gas prices website, just to see where we were at. And those have been ticking back up. So certainly certainly not a good sign there, as gas and energy has been one of the biggest drivers of inflation. I mean, look at this. Michigan, we're back up to 433. We were paying, the current average is now 392. We'll say 392. A week ago, it was 38. That means we've gone up 12 cents a gallon on average in a week. And if you want to say to me, oh, big whoop, Aaron, 12 cents a gallon, you fill up a 10 gallons in your car, that's only $1.20 more. Yeah, but if you extrapolate that, if you do that across the country, that's money, millions of dollars being taken out of people's pockets, in the sense that now they can't go spend that at Walmart, at Amazon, at other companies, at restaurants. And so it's good for a very, very small amount of stocks. It's good for energy stocks. It's good for Chevron. It's good for ExxonMobil. Outside of that, it's not good for the markets. There's a lot of data out there that shows at times when gas prices are like rising at a faster pace than they normally do, stock returns aren't great. I don't think it's really as simple as because it's the little bit of extra money being or spending money being taken out of people's pockets, and now they can't do that. I don't know if it's all of that, if that's why the stock returns are often have that correlation, or if it's because rising gas prices are often associated with other economic events and geopolitical things going on, and that's why you have muted stock returns. I'm not quite sure, and we know correlation does not equal causation. However, I don't like to see the gas prices continue to rise. If we go back up $4 a gallon on the national level, it'll be bad news for inflation, bad news for consumer sentiment, bad news for really just vibes overall. We want good vibes, both in the market and just in the economy overall. And if people are having to spend more money on gas, and now they ain't got enough money to pay for their credit card bill or for holiday gifts this year, I don't know. Not good. I liked it more when gas prices were going down every single day. Well, Kathy's letter to the Fed may have just worked. ARKK up on the day, albeit only about 0.4%. But I mean, against the overall market, well, I guess SPY's up to, how's Q's? What happened? We had Mester speak, and then we said we don't care about what she's got to say. We don't care. I don't know. My Netflix calls are up. I'm up 13%. Keep pushing, baby. Keep going, Netflix. Phoenix gas is $5 a gallon in Tucson. It's under $4 because Tucson gets it from Texas front. He gets it from California. What a joke Cal is. What a joke Republicans. I mean, yeah, you got people on both sides. Just pointing fingers. I don't know. I mean, I don't think the price of gas right now is really falls on one specific political party. I mean, the bottom line is, look, here in the U.S., our actual policies, especially in terms of like economics, pretty there's a lot of argument to be made about. And I know, like, if you look at like Texas and how it does its taxes, but there's studies show out there that you actually end up pay more in taxes in Texas than California. And it goes against like this whole oh wow, first thing that pops up is no, it's not true. Second thing that pops up is yes, Texans actually pay more in taxes than Cal. I don't know. There's an article that came out in Independent. Basically, my point was, like, I think the two parties are much more similar in terms of like economic policy and stuff than they are different. gas price 7-Eleven joke due to come back? Oh, the when 7-Eleven had gas prices that were actually $7.11. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like from from a purely economic standpoint, politics aside, like California has proven to have some good policies. I mean, there's a reason why it has the best GDP in the country, better than Texas. Yeah, the parties differ on energy policy, and I think a lot of people in Texas, they have cheap gas, but we've seen, I'm not saying it's better or worse. Texas is, how they have their own energy grid. Actually, you know what I will say? I think it's worse. I think there's been a lot of problems with that, and I think anyone who would say like looking at what energy or what's it called, NCOT? No, that's the thing in Disney World. I don't know. Whatever the Texas energy grid is, like people have been pushing back against it. I think there's been a lot of problems. Basically, if anyone came on the show and tried to tell me that like Texas has their whole energy situation figured out, they would lose all credibility with me. Yeah, that's fair. Although you could also say yeah. Again, I want to. We'll stop with the politics. I mean, energy is so debated. Okay, I will say this. I do think people, for whatever reason, the people on the right seem much more open-minded, willing to do nuclear, which I agree with. That's basically the only. I would say the only energy policy from the right that I really like wholeheartedly agree with. I think I mean there are people on the left too that fight for nuclear, but for some reason, on average, Republicans are more willing to invest in and to explore nuclear. Venezuela, yeah. I mean, bottom line is like the more we get differentiated in our sources of energy, whether that means more domestic clean energy, more quote unquote dirty oil and gas, but from other sources outside of Russia and OPEC, like I think that's the key, is just differentiating our energy sources to where we're not dependent, we're not beholden to any one group of countries or one country for anything. I do think personally, and this is not, what would Albert Einstein say about the nuclear idea? I have no clue, to be quite honest. I know from what I've researched, I'm not by any means a energy expert. From an economic standpoint, nuclear seems to be the clear, makes the most sense. You have kind of the biggest risks involved in the well, didn't mean to do that. In the nuclear, just dealing with a nuclear waste. I don't think we've ever fully figured that part out in terms of just like a foolproof, completely safe solution. But to act as if oil and gas is safe and not, killing thing, it's tough. I don't think there's an easy way to do it. I think no matter where you stand politically, it's clear that even on a private side, investments are being made in the clean energy space for good reason, because they see it as as A, more sustainable, but B, more profitable. There's a lot of stuff coming out right now showing that we're actually producing the same amount of energy through some clean alternatives in a more cost-effective manner than through coal, oil, and gas. Even Greta likes nuclear now. Everyone, if you're like a tree hugger, green, like you should. And in my opinion, if you're and I do know people, when I was in college, like in my fraternity, like people were mostly more conservative, and I was kind of an outlier there, but I had a lot of friends in college who essentially were pro climate change efforts, but Republic, they were basically like, hey, we need to, as like young people, be able to say like, hey, we're not going to be the party of like denying climate change and shit, because if you think about it, like these were the people too that like do like hunting, like to go hunting, like to go fishing and stuff. And it's like there's a realistic argument to be made that if we continue on the course we're on now, I'm not gonna have an easy time being able to take my kid fishing in a clean lake in 30, 40 years. So I think it's an issue that shouldn't be politicized. It should be something we're all, worried about. That was wasn't that WP Kinsella? If you build it, they will come. Is that actually his name? I'm gonna be kind of impressed if I got that right. WP Kinsella. Oh my god, that was right. Hey, sometimes I got it. Sometimes my recall is it's 10 out of 10. I will say. It's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing and a curse. Yeah, WB Kinsella wrote Shoeless Joe, which Field Dreams is based off of. Jay Rice, I mean, I'd be happy. I mean, I wouldn't be happy to. I'm not saying I would have fun doing it, but if you wanted to come on the show and debate the existence of climate change, we can do that. Again, I think yeah, I don't even know. I've studied it. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on it, but I've studied it enough. I've looked at enough data to show. Yeah, I mean, historically, our Earth has gone through warming and cooling periods. But if you look at a bunch of different things, what we've seen there isn't in line with those trends that we've seen in the past. And so while that is true, that we've seen different like trends in the past in terms of heating and cooling of the earth, to say what we've seen over the last like 30 years or whatever, not the same. I'm also very because one of my favorite things to like study is the kind of, I guess, like how media operates. I mean, I went to journalism school, and that was like something we talked about a lot, just how the control of information works and everything. Like, I'm very aware at what I've been indoctrinated on, like growing up, like, and I try to kind of. Look, I mean, I'm down to have like debate. I'm not like saying I that's kind of my whole thing is I try to remain open-minded about things. Like I don't want to ever say like I know, I think it was Socrates, like any man who knows a thing knows he knows nothing at all. And so if you wanted to have a debate about like what are the best energy policies, what makes the most sense economically, because I do think there's a lot of kind of bullshit. Like for instance, like and as someone who leans a certain way politically, like I have no problem calling out certain things that I see even from the left. Like a couple years ago, I think it was a couple summers ago, a nuclear reactor in New York City was shut down because it was heating up the water, in the harbor, and these fish were dying around where the nuclear plant was. And as a result, energy prices, because this nuclear reactor was providing so much energy for this one portion of the city, because this was shut down, energy prices went up for a lot of people. So you had a lot of like everyday working people had their energy bills going up because some fish were dying. And I was just like, all right, that's so stupid. Like, let the fish die. Like, we should care more about how these policies affect them. So I do think there is some like, environmental hypocrisy, like bullshit that happens. And I'm down to have debates about that. But if you want to come on and say climate change doesn't exist or like all these things, then you kind of lose me, because I think anyone in their right mind can agree on facts, on science, on data, but then have debates about the impacts of that, what needs to be done about that. Republicans bring up no bills to even get the party. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that Republican Party leadership is like super gun ho about the nuclear thing. I don't think that's even really part of their platform on the national level. Nothing that anyone's really campaigning on. I was just saying from a voter standpoint, if you look at like the data, Republican voters are way more. They see nuclear energy way more positively than Democratic voters. And that was me trying to be saying, hey, I'll say something nice about energy policy on the right that I really don't agree with for the most part. That part I do. And I'm okay with, I'm not everything's black and white. It doesn't have to be tribalism, my team against yours. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. That might be a controversial statement to a lot of people in the audience, but I mean, we yeah, I mean that's the thing is like we can all agree climate has changed historically. The debate is have humans impacted the how the climate has changed over the past 30 plus years. I think it's I don't know, like I honestly like should we get a scientist on? Like it just doesn't I don't know like if there's even any point in like talking or debating it, because like I could bring on 10 scientists all in a row that say like yeah, without a matter of a fact doubt, the carbon emissions we're putting in the atmosphere are impacting the climate. Here's exactly how. And I don't think it matters. I don't think people like Jay or Brian are gonna sit back and say, hey, you know what, this guy who's studied this stuff a lot more than me, knows what they're talking about. And again, like I don't know what. So again, I don't understand that, Brian. Like how can you agree to try to minimize pollution, but then say we can't, that humans aren't going to change? That's the whole thing. Is like you literally have scientific evidence for exactly how. And here was the funniest thing too is people are like, oh, no one talks about the ozone, the hole in the ozone layer anymore. And it's like, yeah, because we reduced greenhouse emissions enough to where that became a non-issue, to where the pace we were on, we were like getting to the point where we were gonna irreversibly damage the ozone layer, and now we don't have to worry about that as much anymore. All right, let's get back to stocks on the last 19 minutes. Bill S, I said a lot of things. I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying. Bingo. At the least, plant more trees. Yeah. Plant more trees. That's the easiest. I don't see how anyone can get can disagree with that. I just think too, like, and for, again, this is my personal experience, anecdotal. From most people I know that are younger people that are more conservative or lean right are also like, I know basically a lot of young people that would probably consider themselves Republicans that say like, yeah, climate change is real. We can't be the, and it's the same thing. Like they feel that way about a lot of things with that party. Is they're like, I don't know how we became the party of being against, gay marriage or being against like weed being legal, because it's supposed to be civil liberties and people have individual freedom, and like those things go against it. So the same thing, they're like, we don't want to be the party of not believing in climate change, because like I said, like a lot of those people are also people that enjoy do nature more, like go hunting, go fishing, do all these things. And you're really like seriously I mean there's a lot of and it's not just climate things, like just things we're doing to really hurt our environment in terms of animals and whatnot. Like the deer population in Missouri, where I'm from, has had this terrible cottontail disease, like chronic weight. It's like terrible. Like these deer look disgusting, and like it's not. If you're a hunter and you shoot one of these deers that has this disease, you're not even supposed to touch the deer. Like it's terrible. market is rallying because I added to my long-term positions. Shout out Brian. Hey, you should add to your long-term positions every day if that's all it takes. Let's go ahead and get my BZ Pro pulled back up. I don't know what's going on, baby, but my Netflix calls are printing. Remember last time we checked was during this 10-minute candle where we went down like 0.6% in 10 minutes. Now Netflix is ripping back. Can we get back green on the day? Can we get back green? I think that was again, I'm really like this is I'll say it myself, like by far or one of my biggest weaknesses I would say is pronouncing things. And I don't know how to say this guy's name, I'll be honest. Socrates. I think that's what he said, like something along those lines. Was that any man who knows anything knows he knows nothing or some shit like that? Because I mean, think about it. If you think you know, like if you think you know how markets work and you know how to trade, you're gonna have your mind closed to being able to learn new things, to learn new strategies, to absorb. Whereas if you go into it every day saying, "I don't know how to trade. I'm gonna, learn from my mistakes and try." You're going to end up being more open-minded to picking up new strategies, picking up new ideas and things to do. And plus, you can also be more open about your mistakes too if you try to take that ego out of it and say like, I'm no master, because instead of if I say, okay, I know how to trade, I know my strategies, and I lose money one day, and I'm very closed-minded about that, what am I going to say? I'm going to say, no, my strategy is fine. What I'm doing is fine. The market just screwed me that day. The market was just wrong or irrational. Instead of being like, okay, what did I, fail to see here? What did I do wrong here? Nice dip in DraftKings earlier. I mean, I should buy DraftKings stock. I personally gave DraftKings so much money this weekend. I'm pissed about it. Because I actually had a decent weekend sports betting. Like, I think I was up sports betting. I was just playing the online blackjack and actually went up on that. But it's kind of the same thing with markets. It's like, you want to online casino a little bit, you can make a little money. You want to online sports game a little bit, you can make a little money. But pigs get slaughtered. And I got absolutely slaughtered because I ended up giving back all the winnings that I had made on blackjack. And then I, was trying to revenge bet, deposited more to try to get it back, lost that, deposited more to try to get that back, did that about 5 more times before I finally, had to call it quits. I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. And people give me a lot of shit for it because they're like, why would you play online blackjack? Like, it's so rigged. And there were plenty of times, trust me, where maybe this would be a fun stream activity where I could play live on stream sometime. I don't know if that's legal on YouTube. I know Twitch. There was a lot of talk on Twitter of trying to get gambling banned off Twitch. But anyway, I get it because, like, and trust me, to me, I would have said 100% that, shit had to be rigged because there were so many times where, like, I would have 20 and the dealer would be showing, like, a 6 and, like, pull out just the grossest 21 you've ever seen on, like, 5 different cards. And that happened a bunch. Like, I was losing the most horrendous hands, crazy. I had a time where, like, the dealer got 21, like, 5 different times in a row, like, literally 5 times in a row. But you can, and again, like, people are like, it's online blackjack, it's obviously rigged. My only, like, argument to that is, like, if you go to a real casino, is it any different? It's not like you go to a real casino and the blackjack, dealers are just handing out money and then you play online and it's rigged. You're losing either way most of the time, right? So I don't know. I definitely have had a little bit of a blackjack problem over the weekend, but hopefully that's subsided for now and I'm satiated there. Bounty Hunter says, I'm done catching fallen knives. Been that way for a year now, it seems. Buy low, bag hold. Yep. Buy low, bag hold. Confucius said, look over the whole. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been. Luckily, I haven't got into actually playing like online poker just because it's way more time consuming than playing online blackjack. Like if I want to play online blackjack, I can hop in there and lose $250 in like 10 minutes, no problem. If you're playing like one of those big Texas Hold'em tournaments, it can take up your whole day, and you can make, you know, sometimes a decent amount of money, sometimes not that much. All right, guys. I think we're going to end a couple minutes early today. Money Mitch is getting ready to go live. Let's see. Oh, hell yeah. Mitch has a Blink charging founder and CEO Michael. Sorry, this thing is too long on the calendar. Michael Farkas on the show. I have some shares of Blink, so I'm going to be watching that for sure. Texas Hold'em was my jam on PokerStars, feel like a decade ago. Yeah, I still remember when they did, because first, so Bovada, it used to be Bodog, and PokerStars, you had like a couple, Bodog, PokerStars, and my dad used to play a lot of online poker, and I was like young, like 10 years old, but I would help him on them, like, because some of these tournaments were so big that you had to be so conservative and like, you know, patient in these tournaments that basically I would just like fold every hand unless it was like a pocket pair or like ace king suited or something. But I remember when the FBI like cracked down on online poker in the US. I want to say that was around like 2010 or so. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. I think that was Kenny Rogers. Alrighty, folks. Again, Money Mitch starting up here in 10 minutes. The stream will automatically redirect you there. We'll be back tomorrow with more Benzinga Live. Till then, stay green, stay happy. Give me a follow on Twitter at AaronBree5. Love you guys, as always. We'll be back tomorrow.